This is Carol Mulliken again. Let's talk about writing essays for college. Most of the essays that you write in college will expect that you started with an opinion of your own about something, or at least some basic knowledge about a subject, and that you then do research to acquire more information about that subject. And then before you begin to write, you will have formed a slightly altered, a greatly altered, or maybe just affirmed your original position on the subject. So in a research paper, it's expected that you will include material from other people whom you've read in stating and explaining your new position. So the documentation of that new material is done in a certain form, in the Modern Language Association style form. And we're talking today about how you do this in in-text citations. A citation is any quoted, paraphrased, or summarized material that was written by someone else and you include in your paper. When you do that, it requires documentation. You must cite the source of the information, and you cite it in two places. In the body of your essay, which is called an in-text citation. It's what I run into as I read along through your essay smoothly. And then again on your Works Cited page, which is a separate page at the end of the essay. And those two citations are slightly different. To know exactly where the commas and the periods and the underlining and the punctuation is to go in your essay, you have to use a style guide. And a style guide is just a rule, a set of rules for formatting a document for publication. And there are a number of style guides. One is the MLA, or Modern Language Association style guide. Another is the APA, or American Psychological Association style guide, or possibly the Associated Press style guide, abbreviated as AP. For this course, we're using the MLA style guide because we are teaching a course in language and you are learning the English language, writing in the English language. So that's why we use MLA. But other courses may require that you use a different style guide. Always check with your instructor to know which style guide to use. And this is why you want to hang on to your handbook, because in the back parts of this handbook is an abbreviated form of each of several different style guides. So while you're going to be taking science classes, you may use that section of the style guide and so on. Citations are important because inventors and engineers, scientists, writers, researchers, and scholars live and die by the quality of their ideas, their research, and their invention or their works. And they do not take it lightly if somebody steals their ideas. So not giving credit where credit due is dishonest on your part as a scholar. And schools, universities, community colleges take plagiarism like that as a very serious offense. Students may be suspended or expelled from the college, attacked in the print or media, and sued, or worse, if they plagiarize other people's materials. So in written works, accurate citations prevent any of these occurring. From a more positive point of view, citations are courtesies to your readers who may actually want to find the material that you read in order to read further. They're proof of your academic honesty. And being scrupulously honest in acknowledging the value of other ideas and quoted materials is what is expected of a scholar. To review, there are two types of citations for each reference that you've made in your essay. That is, if you have read a book by John Hanson and you mention him in your essay, then you have to cite him twice. Once is in the body or the text of your document, so that as I'm reading through smoothly, I will see where you got the information in a very minimal level. And then again, you must cite the person on your Works Cited page. At the end of all essays that include the writing of other people, there must be a Works Cited page, and that goes for this class as well. And As a reader, the two types of citations work together to provide all the information that is necessary for the reader to find the information again in its original source. In in-text citations, you must include both the author and the page number, or where found in other media, that you located the information. For example, suppose you read a linguist books explaining that Monty Python humor often relied on, quote, bizarre linguistic interactions, end quote. And the person who wrote that book's name was Crystal. So you would make your statement, make your sentence, and include the quotes, bizarre linguistic interactions. And then before the period at the end of the sentence, you put in parentheses, Crystal, that's the author's last name, and 108, the page that you found it on. Close the quotes, and then the period comes only after the close of the parenthetical citation. In the works cited page, which comes at the end of your essays, the entries are formatted differently than in the in-text citation. This time we're looking at the in-text citations. In creating your sentences and citations, you can do it one of two ways in the in-text citation. One is to mention the author's last name or the author tag in the body of your sentence and then put only the page number in the parentheses at the end. Or mention both the author and the page number in the parentheses at the end of the sentence, and you put the period after the close of the parentheses of the citation. For example, here's a sentence. Jones said Hemingway was, quote, America's best writer, close quote, 17, period. Jones is the name of the author of that quote, and you've included an author tag at the very beginning of the sentence, but you've waited until the end of the sentence to include the page number in parentheses, in this case 17. Or you could do it the other way. You could start your sentence, Hemingway was, and then put in quotation marks, America's best writer, and because you're quoting somebody else's opinion, you've put the person you're quoting, Jones, and the page number on which you found the quotation at the end of your sentence in a parenthetical citation. Now for the writer, here is where it gets a little bit more complicated. The citations change their form depending on the nature of the material that is cited. If a book has just one author, that's cited one way. If it doesn't state the author but it has an editor, you cite it a different way. And if it's published by an organization, you cite it in yet another way. To find the right way to sort each type of material, refer to your handbook for all these special conditions. It's there in the handbook under the MLA Style Guide tab at the back of the book. You don't want to try to remember all of the rules. Few people do. You use your handbook to find the appropriate citation form as you write or before you submit your essay. And it's best to keep careful track of it as you write, or you'll lose it and then you may not be able to find the information again. Now, when you wrote your personal narrative essays, the information comes from you because you were the source of it, and it's not likely that you quote other people. So you simply don't need a works cited page at the end of a personal narrative. However, on your cause and effect essays and your persuasive essays, you do need to cite other people, so you will need a works cited page. And if you need any more motivation to cite, you should know that D2L, which is our platform in this class, automatically submits each essay you send to a thorough plagiarism check done mechanically, and it reports its findings back to an instructor. So you could never expect to get by with plagiarizing in this course. So I just want you to know that, because forewarned is forearmed.